everyone, and welcome back to the Jazz at NMU Tune of the Week. This week we're going to be talking about one of my favorite ballads. This is a tune called Skylark that was composed by Hoagy Carmichael with lyrics by Johnny Mercer. It was published in 1941. Now many of you are probably familiar with some of Hoagy Carmichael's other tunes, including Stardust and Georgia on My Mind. But Skylark really sticks out to me for three reasons. First of all, it just has a great melody. Second of all, the beautiful chord changes in this piece. And third, the lyrics are really top-notch. So let's take a closer look. Skylark is a classic example of 32-bar popular song form. In this case, that breaks down as AABA, where each of those letters denotes an 8-bar phrase. The A sections in this case are virtually identical, and the B section, which we often refer to as the bridge in jazz, presents contrasting material. All of the melodies in this piece really seem to soar. There are any number of examples of arpeggiated lines moving upwards to these glorious long notes. And based on the title, you might think that that has something to do with a skylark sailing on the wind, for example. But in fact, that title came later. When Hoagy Carmichael was writing this tune, he was actually trying to capture the essence of the improvisations of his good friend Bix Beiderbecke. Beiderbecke, of course, was a legendary jazz cornet player who died tragically very young. And Carmichael was in the process of writing a musical about his life. If you've listened very much to Bix Beiderbecke, I think you'll recognize certain elements of his phrasing in the melody of this piece. Most jazz musicians perform Skylark in E-flat major, which is the original key. The A sections are very clearly in the tonic key, and there's some very effective stepwise bass motion in the first 4 bars. It's created through the use of the slash chord in bar 2 and the tritone substitution in bar 3. There's also a secondary dominant chord in bar 5, this F7, which is 5 of 5, and that provides a little bit of chromatic color to the progression. But things really get interesting when we get to the B section. We begin this section in A-flat major, which isn't really a big surprise. A-flat major, after all, is pretty closely related to E-flat major. It's the 4 chord, or the subdominant. There's then a brief shift to F minor, which is the relative minor of A-flat major. And Hoagy Carmichael takes advantage of this moment to insert some blues material into the melodic line. But the most memorable part of these changes happen in the last 2 bars of the bridge, where suddenly we move from A-flat major with 4 flats to G major with 1 sharp. And then just as suddenly, we go from G major back then to E-flat major, the tonic key of the piece. This is the little twist that really makes this chord progression memorable. When Hoagy Carmichael's plans to do a Broadway musical about Bix Beiderbecke's life fell through, he passed the piece along to Johnny Mercer and asked him to write lyrics for it. Apparently it took Mercer more than a year to figure out the right words that would fit with the melody that Carmichael had written. But it was definitely worth the wait. We end up with this great tune about longing, where the singer is asking the skylark for romantic guidance. And there's wonderful lines here, like, "Is there a meadow in the mist where someone's waiting to be kissed?" This is really great poetry. And I think as instrumentalists, it's really important that we're aware of the words of these tunes, because it can really affect our phrasing and help us understand what we're trying to express as we play this music. I'll put these lyrics up as I play this piece today for you, so you can follow along as the piece unfolds. I hope you enjoy Skylark.